In the meantime, I think we're going to hand it over to Chriseld Lewis.
Well, Nompu, you would recall in the last untabled budget there'd been no increase in the fuel levy. So with all the discussions around VAT, is there going to be any pressure relating to an increase in a fuel levy? I guess we'll get to know all of this when the Finance Minister, Godongwana, is expected to table that budget at 2 o'clock this afternoon. But we want to bring in the Fuels Association of South Africa, the Chief Executive, Avapani Chifularo, and just to get your expectations, Mr. Chifularo, on what to expect at 2 o'clock. There's a lot of talk around the VAT. There had not been an increase in the last untabled budget. What are you hoping for in this budget, should it be tabled?
So there are two things. We're looking at measures to grow the economy. Second part, we're looking at measures that are going to strengthen the fight against illicit trading activities. Maybe if I can start with the illicit trade. This will center around the issues on illegal activities such as mixing of paraffin with diesel, because the government or the state is losing a lot of money through those activities. So we have been calling for measures to really take away the incentive, which is the differential between the price of paraffin and diesel. So if you were to tax the paraffin the same as diesel, you're going to raise additional revenue to the state. At the same time, you are combating illegal activities. So that is the first part as far as the illicit trading. The second part in terms of growing economy, that's where we have got a lot of expectations, particularly when it comes to introduction of biofuels into our fuel pool. We're looking at measures, the tax measures that can support the biofuels manufacturers, those people who are planting crops that eventually going to be turned into fuel that's going to be blended with the fuel that we manufacture from our facilities. Secondly, the refineries that remain standing. You do know that we have lost 3 refineries, mainly because of the issue of the recovery of the cost, because there was no justification to make such a big investment if you're not going to recover any of the money. So those that are still remaining, we don't want to lose them, because if we lose refineries, we are going to further deindustrialize the economy. So we're looking at measures that can be announced, similar to what the government has announced on green hydrogen, so that we can then support the refineries to make sure that we keep the jobs that are supported by these refineries. And lastly, as far as growing the economy, we're looking at measures to make the easy of doing business, make it easier for the participants in the industry by looking at the control of, that are imposed by the Customs and Excise Act. Make sure that it's easy to move products, rather than having the difficulties that we have experienced with the current situation with the jet fuel, where it was very difficult to move jet fuel from terminals in Durban to the inland facilities. So if we can hear some announcement around making sure that it's much easier to do business in the sector, we make sure that it's easier to move products such as jet fuel by making the necessary changes to the Customs and Excise Act. That will go a long way to helping the industry to contribute to the economy.
Yes, and there's something that you mentioned just before we went to air about President Cyril Ramaphosa mentioning the price of food. That obviously, has an impact on which way we see fuel prices go. That is one of the issues of concern for you as the fuels industry as well, I would imagine.
Yes, because this is a very topical issue. We've been discussing it at NEDLEC, as business community and other social partners. The issue of increasing food and fuel prices. The president announced an intervention to look at this issue, but so far we have not had any progress on this issue. So we have heard the minister of Mineral and Petroleum Resources talking about very critically about the taxes that are imposed on fuels. So we're looking to waiting to hear what will be the way forward in terms of this, because people need to know whether they are overcharged or not.
Chief Executive, thank you very much indeed. We do appreciate your time. Apologies for keeping you so long. We had a bit of a technical issue there. The fuels industry, of course, having their say about what their expectation is ahead of that expected budget speech delivery by the Finance Minister, Godongwana. But we'll certainly wait to see which way it goes. Very much on the topical issue at the moment. As I indicated, Nompu, we did not see a fuel levy increase in that untabled budget, the last untabled budget, the one that did not sit. Was there enough pressure? What are we going to see when the Finance Minister takes to the podium? That certainly remains to be seen. We'll take a short break now. When we come back, we'll continue with our rolling coverage of Budget 2025.